What's happening, YouTube? Let's dive right into this video. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all in here, y'all on this channel, y'all in this video, and y'all clicked on it. But what you ain't did yet is hit that like button. You know why? Because I can tell you ain't hit the like button yet. And if you ain't subscribed, go ahead and consider subscribing. This is where all the real ones be at. This is where all the cool people be at. You know what I'm saying? You now at the cool table. You know what I'm saying? You now with the cool fellas, man. Speaking of cool tables, speaking of the fellas, right here, right now, you just tuned in to Moneyville's Media Roundtable with the fellas. It's a new segment we're dropping, a new series we're starting, the Roundtable with the fellas. You know, we come on here and we chop game. From behind the walls to the streets to entrepreneurs to business owners and everything in between. Real men, real stories, real stand-up fellas, man. Right here and right here only. Today's discussion I want to talk about is red on red. For you guys that don't know what is red on red, it is a highly frowned upon, a highly activities that took place within Northern California without going into too much politics and exposing too much game, right? Because that's not what we do here, man. We don't expose game, we give the game, man. You know what they say, the game is to be sold, not to be told. Well, at the same time, man, we got to share some of the game too, you feel me? You can't just be gatekeepers, man, to the game. Sometimes you got to share some of this game, man, especially to the young life out there, especially to these youngins, man, that don't know no better. So it's our duties and responsibilities to give out the game, to share some education to these people, man. You feel me? So growing up in Stockton, California, I can tell you firsthand what is red on red. I can tell you, man, like, look, homie, growing up, I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. Some people may not like this video, but it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. There's been a lot of red on red in my city. There's no question about that. There's no sugarcoating it. It is what it is, homie. And where does all this come from? Where does all this begin? And it has a lot to do with just neighborhoods, bro. It has a lot to do with money and egos and motherfuckers just set tripping, homie. You feel me? See, the way I grew up, bro, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. It wasn't right, but it's the way we grew up. And a lot of people can relate to this. Let me know in the comments if you can relate to what I'm just about to say right now. I grew up set tripping. I grew up. I'm here to tell you, I'm one of the ones that grew up set tripping off other homies. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about from middle school days to high school days and up and on forward, right? I grew up not liking other homies' hood. That's just the way it was. That's the way I was taught. I was taught not to like the other side. I was taught to not like the other homies from these hoods and that hood, and just taught not to like nobody damn near. You know what I'm saying? The section I grew up in, we didn't get along with damn near anybody, homie. You feel me? And we was taught that way. We was taught that fuck everybody and whoever want it can get it. And you know what I'm saying? It's the hood over everybody. It's the hood comes first. And look, man, don't get mad at me. Get mad at my older homies. Yep, I'm throwing y'all under the bus. It's y'all fault. We set tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing the older homies under the bus. It's y'all fault. Y'all taught us wrong. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but look, man, and that's just the way it was, bro. It's like we were taught these ways. We were taught to set trip on a serious scale, man. And we didn't know no better. And I say we because there's a lot of individuals that were like myself growing up. We didn't know no better, homie. We didn't know we weren't supposed to do that. You feel me? We did have Southerners in my neighborhood at one point in time, right? Growing up, I would say maybe my freshman year, sophomore year, it was like the end of the Serenos in my neck of the woods, right? While we were funking with them dudes, we were still funking with Northerners. After the Southerners kind of got moved out the way and were out the picture, the tensions with other Northerners just grew even more. Now, there were dudes that were trying to stop it. There were dudes from the neighborhood who were saying, like, you know, we're not supposed to be doing that, this and that. Well, at the same time, if dudes pose a threat, right, you're not gonna let no one threaten you, or you're not gonna put your lives or your homies' lives in jeopardy based on some policy that you guys are supposed to abide by, because you may be abide by the policy, right? But these other motherfuckers ain't. So you can be like, hey, no red on red, but these motherfuckers down the street don't give a fuck about that shit, and they gonna smoke y'all. You feel me? So it's like it's a fucked up situation to be in, because one side may be playing ball a certain way, but the other team ain't playing by the rules. You know what I'm saying? So that happens a lot in the city of Stockton. And it's generational, bro. It's generational funk. It's generational. Look, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. There was a point in time in my life where if you had a northerner on one side of the street and you had a south sider, a sereno on the other side of the street, right? And the northerner I knew, who I had funk with, who my neighborhood had funk with, who we had problems with, where it's on sight with these dudes, right? We set tripping red on red to the max. This dude's right here on the street, and I see him, and I know we after this dude, right? I'm gonna get that northerner before I do something to that southerner, and that's just a sad reality of my past. I'm keeping it all the way 1,000 with y'all. I was young, I was dumb, I was uneducated, and that's just the truth. And there was a point in time where I would take flight, get off on this northerner before I would get off on this southerner. For the simple fact, I knew this dude. We had personal fun. Our hoods are going at it. Like there's real issues going on. The South Side, I don't know he's a South Side. I mean, I don't know who he is. I don't know nothing about him, right? All I know is that he's a South Sider, because we can tell, right, by looking at these dudes. I mean, nowadays you can't really, but back then you could tell. So if I were to notice that he was a Sereno, and then I noticed this dude across the street who happens to be a Northerner, but it's funk with him, I'm going to choose to attack this Northerner before I'm going to choose to attack this Sereno. Oh, best believe after I get done doing what you feel me, sliding on this dude right here, I'm gonna slide on the Sereno afterwards. He ain't getting no pass, but this other dude's gonna get slid on first, and that's the sad reality of my past, and that's the sad reality of a lot of dudes still out here in the city and across some cities in Northern California. And now, how does that change for the future generations? How do you stop that? Well, it stops with us, bro. It starts and it stops with us. You feel me? And what I mean by that, what starts is the starting of a new leaf, bro. The start of of change. You feel me? Advancement demands change, bro. And some motherfuckers may look at it like, oh man, that motherfucker talking all that woo woo woo, right? All that rah rah rah. Nigga, fuck all that. It's forever funk with the suckers. We forever set tripping woo woo woo. Yes, and there's motherfuckers like that, and they're gonna get what they got coming eventually. You feel me? Because every dog has their day. And me, the way I stand, where I stand now, is I want the betterment for all my peoples, homie. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what side of town you're from or what hood you're from. Bro, if you're my peoples, bro, I want the best for you, homie. If I see you on the side of the road, homie, I'm gonna pull over and help you out, bro. If I see you pushing your car, you're having trouble changing your tire, bro, I'm gonna hop out and I'm gonna assist you, homie. Because I'm going to assist my people, bro. Because I want the best for my people. I no longer want to cause harm to my people. I no longer want to bring danger to my people. I no longer want to hurt my community, homie. You feel what I'm saying? Instead, I want to uplift my community. I want to uplift my people. I want to work together with my people. I want to build with my people. You know, there's a lot of poison out here, bro. There's a lot of individuals that spread poison. There's a lot of individuals that out here spreading misinformation and misguiding individuals, right? There's a lot of youngsters out here looking up to the wrong individuals. And a lot of that place is our own fault, right? Because a lot of us ain't reaching back to the young homies. A lot of us ain't reaching back to the hoods to teach the hood, because it takes us to teach the hood, homie. It takes us to enlighten the young homies. It takes us to show these young homies what's right and what's wrong. And some people may say, yeah, but they ain't gonna listen. The youngsters don't give a fuck about none. And a lot of times that's true, homie. But if you're a person of influence in your section, they're gonna listen to you. If you're a person of influence in your neighborhood, you need to speak up and utilize your influence to better your people. If you have a voice in your hood, homie, use that shit. You feel me? If you have a voice, use it. Uplift your homies, man. Work together. Figure out ways to put your differences to the side. And I know a lot of times that shit's hard to do, especially when there's already been certain situations that took place. But it can happen, homie. Trust me, it can happen. And utilize your voice to do that. We need legitimate businesses, homie. We need to own our neighborhoods. We need to buy property. We need to invest back into our communities, uplift each other, homie. So when a homie gets out the pen, you got a business. This is a solid dude. He wants to work. He wants to get off parole. You know what? You that motherfucker that has a business. You can hire him. You can give him that opportunity. Even if it's a low paying starting job, right? It's a job, homie. And he can use that as a stepping stool to advance in a career. You may not have a business, but you know a trade. You're well trained in this specific field of work. You can teach a homie how to do that shit. You can guide the homie in the proper ways on how to sign up for the union jobs, how to get into construction. You know, when I was in county jail, bro, when I was 18 fighting my case, when I went to prison, right? Man, bro, I didn't know fractions, bro. I didn't know a lot of shit as far as school. I'm not no dumb motherfucker, but I just never went to school like that, right? The homies taught me math, bro. The homies taught me my fractions, and the homies helped me pass my GED. I got a GED in jail right before I went to prison. And if it wasn't for the homies, bro, I would have never passed. I would have never got that motherfucker. Straight up. I remember the homies would sit me down and be like, nah, bro, you feel me? I would want to go play handball. I would want to go play pinochle or poker, whatever, right? And I'm like, nah, bro, you got a test coming up. You gonna sit down and you gonna study. Come on, we're gonna help you. Pull me to a corner and a table, grab some chairs, and they'll really sit down with me, bro, and study for my GED test. Solid individuals. That's what it's all about, homie. Helping each other out, uplifting each other so we can advance forward, bro. Look out for your peoples, homie. We are all here as one, as a raza, right? We are all one movement. We are all one. It's a machine, machina. If one part in the machine is not properly functioning right, then the whole machine starts to hiccup. But when the entire machine is running properly, everything runs smoothly. And each and every one of us is a functioning part within this machine. Now, I say all that to say, bro, if there's a way for any of y'all to communicate with another homie that you may have differences with, utilize that. Utilize whatever homie there is out there to reach out to. And it's not no sucker shit, homie, by having a conversation with another homie about whatever issues you guys have. And sometimes all it takes is for a motherfucker to be the middleman in between y'all, the medium. You feel what I'm saying? And if you're that medium, if you're that person that can stand in between these homies that are having issues before it escalates to something else, you need to step up and be that person. Because instead of tearing each other down, instead of going to war with one another, because trust me, I seen it, homie. I seen it firsthand. So instead of continuing this guerra, we need more motherfuckers to step up and speak out against this shit, homie. And instead, uplift our hoods, uplift our communities, uplift our peoples, and putting each other in places to win. So we don't have all our homies in prison. So we don't have all our homies in jails. So we don't have to visit a cemetery every week, every month throughout the year because it's another homie's death anniversary. Until we change our mindset, homie, nothing else is going to change. It starts with our minds, bro. We have to change our mindset. We have to change the way we think in order to change the outcome of our lives. That's the message for today, man. Hit that like button. This is the round table with the fellas. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. You'll be notified every time I drop content just like this. We'll have more conversations like this one. Like I said, the round table with the fellas. It's going to be on the playlist tab. Stay on the lookout for that. We're going to be having more guests and more conversations. Till next time, I'm gone.